In 2010, you got called up to represent Nigeria at the FIFA World Cup. You've played under 20, you've played AFCON, you've played Olympics. Now it is the biggest one, the biggest competition.
Yeah.
Tell me, I've never been to a World Cup. What does that feel like?
Well, I tell you, I also don't dream of it. If I'm being very honest with you, I know people sit down and say, "Oh, I dream of playing." No, I don't. I know I put effort to achieve what I want to achieve. But being in the World Cup, it was very special. It was really special for so many reasons because this is World Cup. Of course, I knew for the fact that Olympics is very special tournament, I would say, because I really like it. And World Cup is completely different. So yeah, definitely I was the same as always. I was super proud, super excited, super determined. And yeah, off you go. That's it. And I believe our first game, what's that? First game against Argentina. So the same Argentina. And they beat us 1-0, which I would say, oh my goodness. I think we deserve to get something out of that game. But of course, on that World Cup, we were told that during the corners or free kick, whoever hold a player, if they score a goal, the goal will be cancelled. And if I can remember well, I think I can't remember exactly which play. I think it was Yobo who they hold for another player to finish that goal. It was a corner kick. Yeah. So it was kind of cheat, I believe. So they cheat on us. But we had an amazing game. We were super, super, super proud for the effort we put on that game. But unfortunately, the same Argentina, they beat us 1-0. And then moving to Greece match, we started really well. We were in control and everything. And then all of a sudden, I had a red card. So the team got back to 10 players, which is, I would say, is this something I regret? No. Why do I say that? Because I didn't know it happens, if that makes sense. Something that you know it happens, you can regret it. Whereby in this case, I didn't know it happens. So we just then left the team with 10 players, which is very difficult. I think we were leading at the time.
Yes, we had scored. Uche scored.
So which was very difficult, right? It was with 10 man and of course, as in that time, Greece, they have a quality players as well. It was very unfortunate that happens because it's something that I don't know. Until today, I can't tell a story about this. I don't know. No, genuinely, I don't know. I don't know because I don't. That's the fact.
It's interesting. It's interesting to hear that you don't know what happened because, I was going to ask you, like, did the player do something? Did they say something?
Actually, I keep saying it. What I've seen on the screen after the game, that's what I thought. Because apart from what I saw on the screen, I didn't know what has happened. And then afterward, I tell you what, went back to my room. Oh my goodness. I cried for 3 days. Honestly, I cry every single day, But, there are certain things that you cannot change.
Yeah.
So it's one of them that sometimes you need to learn to move on. And then, of course, I moved on.
When I think about it now, because I still have that picture in my head of when you got the red card. I remember you fell to your knees immediately. You put your hand on your head, you were on your knees. So it makes sense that you did not really know what had happened because if you know you've done something and then you get sent off after.
I tell you, this discussion, I will tell you from my side, I moved on for a very long time. Very long time. I'm just telling you a story that because
I understand.
you know what has happened. I didn't know. I can't tell. The only thing, even at the time, the only thing I told was what I saw on the screen.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So if If someone understood, then you understood. If you don't want to understand, you will never understand. That's your problem. That's their problem. Not mine. But the fact is, I don't really know what has happened. Unfortunately.
The reaction from Nigerians is something that we hope to never see that kind of reaction again. You know, not
No.
so.
One of the things that you need to understand even today in Nigerian football, this is fact, I would say. Nigerians love football. Where whatever part of Nigeria, people love football. But there are some fans who really love football and they have a personal hatred towards certain players, which was not needed. It's not me, no. Even it happens on this recent up because the way people are reacting to things, you can see there are personal things, if that makes sense. Personal dislike or personal hatred or whatever it is that need to stop. Because these players that are playing, they're also human. They make a mistake and they work extremely hard. So these are the things I would say. So it's nothing to do with me, but there are certain, this is the fact. There are certain fans who are genuinely dislike certain players or whatever. So if things goes wrong, it's always going to be those against.
How did you cope though? Because from a mental point of view, it could not have been easy. How did you cope?
How did I cope with? Have a look. I said it to you. I don't know what has happened. Right? That's me. I genuinely don't know. So what do you mean? How do I cope?
No, but I'm asking about like the reactions, the insults, the threats.
The reaction. I just highlighted this to you, right? Some fans who are genuinely love for Nigerian football wanted to succeed. Yeah, they support that Super Eagles team. You see the Super Eagles, Fly Eagles, whatever it is. But there are certain players. There are certain players, yeah, or there are certain fans which they don't like certain players, and you can clearly see that they just don't like certain players.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's nothing with a player making a mistake, but more to them disliking that player. I don't know if you got what I mean.
No, I understand you. I understand you.
So it's more of that. It happens just recently, not long ago, isn't it? It's just last month. So this need to stop. Players are putting their body line, working extremely hard to achieve success for Nigerians. Doesn't mean they're not gonna make a mistake. Have you ever seen any mistake in AFCON? It's either with referee or whoever. Everyone does.
Yeah.
So this is just the fact. People need to grow up and understand this is human things that people make certain mistake. It can be silly mistake, which everyone does. So we just, some people need to grow up to understand this, please.
True, very true. And I like the perspective that you have on it, because it sounds like you don't hold a grudge against anybody, you just kind of understand how it is.
What should I hold? If I've been playing for Nigeria for a couple of years without getting a yellow card, what should I hold? Nothing. I can only be super proud for what I have done for Nigeria, for the way I represented Nigeria during my playing time. So I'm super proud for that, for the effort I put, for the work I do, for whatever it is. I'm super proud of that. So that's just alone is enough for me. People keep saying it's the last time I get called up, this, that, all this. I think it's rubbish. People need to understand it. It's rubbish. When KC started, I was there in one, but I didn't play because I was injured and I went with the team. So people don't know, mostly people don't know anything, but they will claim to know everything. That's the major problem here. I was in the camp and I went to Rwanda to play qualifying game, which I didn't play. I was on the bench. I was injured.
You see?
So people
And
don't really know about this, but you listen to everyone's opinion. You can just sit down in your own corner. You mention things that you don't know, you know nothing about. That's the problem.
and that is why I'm happy that I'm talking to you, because a lot of these things, once the wrong narrative goes
So
out to the public.
So if, for example, people have so much wrong narrative towards so many things, not me, so many things. So
Yeah.
do you want to announce, no, this is not this, is that? No. You just laugh because majority of the people who are putting certain narratives are genuinely not really, they don't really know anything. That's just the fact. They just try to create certain stories and so to spread their hatred towards people, and that's it.